Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show. Ash Brent live from the Atson Offer Studio. We're glad you're here. Thanks for joining us this morning. Going to be another nice one. Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the great folks at AT Deerlam Hayfeed and Ranch Services.
69 degrees in Victoria, Texas, under cloudy skies. 45% chance of rain, it appears, this afternoon. And really starting tonight. 11 p.m. is when the chance of rain is. 100% chance of rain tomorrow with a high of 72. Today's high, a balmy 85. 85 and about 100% humidity. So
and rain tonight.
Yeah, and rain, they're saying definitely rain tonight.
So where do you want to start? FCC looking at ABC, all because of Kimmel's comments. I mean, was it just bad timing with Kimmel? I mean, it was the day before the White House Correspondents' Dinner. It's not like he knew that something was going to happen there.
No, but he's falling in, and we touched on it yesterday. He's falling into the same problem that James Comey has, that you're saying disparaging things about a sitting president, that they have two totally different audiences, Kimmel and Comey, but that Kimmel's audience, you could incite that one crazy loon leftist who watches your show to take matters into his own hands.
But I don't think joking about a
I don't
50-year-old woman married to almost an octogenarian and someday
careful.
Becoming a widow is inciting violence, whereas Comey, the rain shells on a beach.
Comey's just an idiot.
Yeah.
Comey's mocking a guy who quite obviously can simply have you arrested. I mean, is that even a good thing in this country? I don't know. I can't say that it is. It's certainly an attack on James Comey's freedom of speech. But are there certain things? It's kind of like, I don't know, but I know it when I see it. I know that what James Comey did was in poor taste, and that what he did really, and then the fact that he didn't just own it. Oh, come on, Donald. I'm talking slang to my law enforcement guys. The fact that he said, what? It's just a random number on the beach. He's a liar. 8647 is a call to somebody shoot the president. That's what he's saying, whether he wants to own it now or not. And whether or not that should be forbidden, I don't know.
The fact he took the time to arrange that crap on a beach.
He's an idiot.
No, he is an idiot. Greg Garcia says with Kimmel, it's a pattern of behavior and disgustingly low ratings. I mean, his ratings are low. I don't know. They're disgusting. I wouldn't describe them that way.
He probably gets more viewers than we get listeners.
Well, when he does stuff like this and everybody pays attention to
That's what he's after. He's a clickbait guy. I sent you a video yesterday. In contrast, I saw a video clip from Johnny Carson that was hosted the day after President Reagan had been shot. And the decision had been made to not move forward with the scheduled programming on the day of the president's shooting when John Hinckley shot President Reagan. And at the time, Reagan downplayed it as no big deal, small caliber weapon. But now we know he was one click away from being dead. And the government basically kind of covered it up until he recuperated, which he did, obviously. But they postponed the awards show or whatever it was. And Johnny Carson, in his opening monologue at the event in a tuxedo, said, I'm proud to report that the president is doing well. And in fact, and when he said this, I remembered the event. He said, and the president had sent us a taped intro to the show, and I am inclined to go ahead and play that. It was from before he got shot. And he did play the little video snippet of it. Well, welcome to the program. But at the end of the day, they made the conscious decision that the show did not need to go on. They needed to be respectful of what had happened that day. Whereas Kimmel and the like, and his ilk, if you will, just continue on and have no problem saying, well, it's a shame somebody missed. I mean, there is no getting away. Maybe I'm a cynic, but I just believe the Democrats would celebrate in the street if Donald Trump got shot.
No.
And I think that's horrific. When Johnny said we just wanted to have respect for the president of the United States, the entire audience, made up of celebrities who were not all Republicans, stood and clapped. They respected the idea of waiting on their event. They were all still dressed to the nines the next day. Just another sign that they were people who didn't have jobs. They were just there. But how is Cody Bauman the first one in? He must have logged in about 5 o'clock.
Ricky King and Scott Tomko on the podium this morning. Good morning, everybody. We're glad you're all here. But definitely, I mean, and in my opinion, you can thank Obama for the division of the country and the lack of
I think it's very true.
respect for the office of president.
Very, very true. Which brings us to next week. Look, it is time for you to start getting mentally prepared.
Hi, Marina.
Hi, Marina. To be at the No Fools rally and protest next week, Saturday, May 9th. Is that right? That's next weekend.
Yeah, next Saturday.
Saturday.
A week from Saturday.
Junior Sample, Andrew Alvarez, they're going to do their show live from the Patty Dotson Magic 95.9, the mothership. Good morning, Lilo and company. They will be there. We'll probably have some Tejano music playing. I'm sure we can request that. And we're going to give away, unlike other protests that have crayons and stupid signs and speak of no kings, under the guise of no fools, we're going to give you breakfast tacos, whether you
donate,
reciprocate or not. We're not selling you taco. We're not bartering with
There's
you.
no quid pro quo here.
Right. Although it would be nice, like if they just like raise their shirts or something. Anyway, don't show up in your pajamas. We may get you to get out of the car.
Man boobs for tacos?
Right, that would be my thought. Moobs. We are going to collect
no moves
cans. Look at there. Junior Symbol says Magic will be on location playing it live.
There we go.
And we want you to come. In an ideal world, you would bring us a number 10, Sam's sized can of vegetables. We've already collected a case of green beans, corn, and peaches from the great Bobby Leister. And our plan is to take those, and somebody, I think I'm putting Ash in charge of this. This is live field promotion. Someone's going to bring a small utility trailer.
Throw it all in the back of my pickup truck.
And we're going to take it from the event.
That'll work better.
Across to Trish Hastings and donate it in total. Maybe we might keep one can of peaches for ourselves, but donate it to Christ Kitchen. It's a great event. It's a win-win-win. It shows me a couple of things. We can just off the cuff joke about an event and it grows, and it's going to be a solid event. Number two is you people are the most generous audience anywhere in radio. And when you come in and bring the cans, we are going to really help Trish Hastings help a lot of people. And I'm looking forward to doing that. And in the meantime, you're going to get a wonderful griddle cooked, homemade, handmade taco. By the way, Veracruz restaurant, Veracruz is donating the tortillas. Best tortilla in town, handmade, homemade. What do you got?
Probably end up getting banned, but
moving to the country, I'm gonna eat a lot of peaches. I'm moving to the country, I'm gonna eat me.
Ash is on a new ADHD medication. We're still
there we go.
Curious if it's actually working.
Probably not.
Junior says it'd be nice if folks brought some homemade salsa. We're going to be right there. Might as well give them a free plug. We're going to be in proximity to the farmers market that occurs on that site
I'm sure
on
we can
that
get
Saturday.
a jar or two.
And I know Jennifer Rayburn posted a peach. Aren't you witty early in the morning? We're going to be able to go. And if we need some cilantro, we'll just send Junior over there to get it,
Yeah.
Put Junior on his horse and let him go. I know that Rylan and Caden will be there delivering tacos to cars and bringing back canned goods. It's now the events at the part where I want you to bring the canned goods whether you want a taco or not.
Absolutely.
That's what I want.
Wow. I mean, that was kind of the whole point anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you see all the fools in Congress? I know I wasn't here yesterday. I did watch part of it, but
That was a natural segue.
all the fools in Congress kind of stand up when King Charles talked about the checks and balances that our system provides.
They're
for
so
us.
stupid.
And what's lost in all that is the irony of a system when we revolted from that system had no checks and balances.
Right.
Like he just kind of,
And now the king has been totally neutered of any pertinent power.
yeah.
I mean, there are things that they still run across his desk. They have to have monarchy approval. And the Slater asked the Oliver Lane the other day, does he ever say no? And they go, no, actually, he's precluded by law from saying no. He is told that he must rubber stamp whatever Parliament determines.
And Canada still can send certain laws to the king for approval, and it's usually done to gerrymander.
Australia as well.
Yeah, it always tends to be like, I think the last time it was done, Canada wanted to increase the number of senators so they could actually pass some legislation. So they had to get
the king to look
the
in
Queen's
on it.
approval, and Queen Elizabeth approved it. So
Well, you think about it, they took the time to protest Donald Trump with no king's rallies, and then they all stood and applauded when a real king came and addressed Congress.
Yeah.
Very interesting. The hypocrisy, folks. That's when I talk about the hypocrisy always being the tail of the left. That's it. There's an example. I think no. You have to tell them about the air fryer.
Okay,
Simply have to.
You wanna
The
go
guy
there?
died, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't an
Oh,
attempted
no.
homicide.
No, he's dead. So
It's a great story.
yeah, we're gonna take. I mean, this is typically the kind of story that comes out of Florida,
Florida.
let alone, but Wisconsin. 27-year-old woman named Michaela Cloth has now been charged with first-degree intentional homicide. I mean,
That means she knew what she was doing.
she planned it. All because her boyfriend wanted to stay in and cook dinner in the air fryer, and she wanted to go out for dinner, so she stabbed him.
So, gentlemen, as we approach Mother's Day,
Don't get her an air fryer.
not only that, if she hints at wanting to go to the Golden Corral, take her. Because this woman, 27 years old, I hate to be stereotypical. To me, she looks like a meth head.
Yeah, there's some drugs there.
And it really has like taken it out on her eyebrows, really has overshaved those. But this woman got so mad that she took a knife and stabbed her 25-year-old boyfriend. Now, can you imagine?
Then called the cops on herself.
Yeah. She was angry at him for not wanting to go out to eat with her. Wow. It says, while transporting her, the defendant stated that if the victim's parents didn't hate her before, they'll hate her now. Well, that might be the understatement of the day. He was pronounced dead in less than an hour after she first made the 911 call.
Yeah. When the cops showed up, she apparently complained she should have just gone to the bar and that this whole thing was irritating.
It's crazy town.
It is crazy town. You think she's got some issues?
What was that town called?
Lac LaBelle,
Wisconsin.
Yeah. Careful with the air fryers, guys. Careful.
Just a bad day. Like,
I should have just gone to the bar.
It's crazy.
Well, and they're keeping her in $2 million bond. At least Wisconsin doesn't just bond these people out.
And what does it say prior to the stabbing? Let's see. According to the newspapers, officers also spoke with the couple's landlord, who allegedly said Rosh, that would be the victim, claimed his girlfriend had bitten him a week prior to the stabbing. Please take my full name in case something ever happens to me, he told the landlord per the paper. I mean,
you're that worried about your life that you're telling the landlord these things? Why don't you just leave?
Why do you stay?
Yeah, exactly.
Why does anybody stay in these abusive relationships? If you need a place to go, I'll find you a place to go. Don't stay. Don't stay and wait for someone to kill you.
Funky Troy Molina checking in.
It's crazy.
Should have just gone out to eat, says Catherine.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Scott Tomko always has a solid point. He said, I think the Dems fawned over the king just to chap Trump and all the Republicans. But, I mean, I agree, but I'm not sure they even had that much thought. They are such stargazing celebrity jock sniffers, cleat chasers, if you will.
Well, but the president was the one that invited him to speak before both houses, the joint address to Congress.
He does care about the monarchy. His mother was Scottish. Scotch? Scottish?
Yeah.
She's from Scotland. Yeah.
Scottish.
Is she Scottish?
Yeah, she's Scottish.
She's not Scotch. Scotch is a PD drink. Wendy Hughes Garcia says, let this be a lesson to you, Greg Garcia. If she wants to go out, man, just go.
Take her out.
If you fire up the air fryer and your wife gets out that sharpening deal in the kitchen and she's sharpening a knife, just turn the air fryer off.
Right,
As men, we're enamored with it because it works. It's
so
idiot-proof.
It really is. Unless you leave something in there too long.
Linda Chris says, we've always had a rule, no house appliances for presents. Yeah, that's solid.
Usually is.
I'm trying to remember what I ordered Dawn the other day. I was at Lowe's a couple weeks ago and bought an old-fashioned straw broom. I told her that was a pre-Mother's Day offering. And I ordered she wanted a new comforter. And we ordered it, and it gave me the opportunity to make it a gift on Amazon. And I just put Happy Mother's Day on there, something she and I had looked at together and agreed that's the one we're going to buy. And when I ordered it, I put the card very thoughtfully. I thought it was not received as such. That did not count.
Why'd you need a new comforter?
Well, because it's very difficult to say no to an 80-pound doodle at 3 a.m. and I just got tired of the spots on the other one.
Gotcha.
Greg Garcia says, thankfully, I do not own an air fryer, and I love Golden Corral.
Although I'm hearing all sorts of great things about the new Ninja. The Instapot came out a couple of years ago. Apparently, Ninja has released their own version of something like that can sear and
it's supposed to be good,
sous vide, and it's got like 9 functions in it.
Which means you'll just use it instead of the microwave.
I'm not getting one. I like my air fryer. I don't need something like that. Oh, it's a pressure cooker.
Is there any truth to the rumor that Erica Briggs is supposedly coming in tomorrow?
Today.
Today?
Yeah. Joel Novosad's coming by tomorrow.
Erica, wake up. Wake up, Erica.
Who else is coming by tomorrow? Mickey Costello's
going to come by and wrap up. Saturday, big vote for or against your choice, the VISD school bond. It is the only item that was on my ballot.
I had a school board member up for election.
I think I had BJ Nelson on mine. Is that right? Yeah. Was running unopposed.
Okay.
Is that right?
I don't know. I'm not in your district.
I don't know. Well, who was on yours?
Rick Jones and somebody I didn't vote for.
Oh, there you go. Mine was on there with no opponent. Folks, Veracruz Wednesday, Thursday. Today is post-Caldo Wednesday, Thursday. Get into Veracruz today. As I said, they are going to provide 100 tortillas. I need to remind Lee of that. 100 tortillas. At first I thought 100 would far exceed the number of tacos we're going to give away, but we've already got funding from several very generous folks who I will ask if it's okay to mention their names later, that we're going to buy eggs and bacon and cheese and sausage. And we've got 2 griddles, and I have a feeling that Junior Samples and I will be la 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 la.
He can't. He's got a show to do.
Spatulas. Not at 7:30.
I'll kick the spatulas.
There you go. We're going to be kicking spatulas around and making things happen. I'll bring like a little squirt bottle with some olive oil.
We can tap each other's spatulas.
Can you spin an egg like that guy at one of those Japanese
places? No,
me either.
I'm lucky if I can crack them and make sure all the shells stay out of the eggs.
I've gotten really good at jamming my finger in there and pinning that piece of shell to the bottom, and then
pulling it out. Yep.
Yeah,
that's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
Can't do that when we're cooking for others, though.
Well, yeah. Are you going to wear a hairnet?
Unless we got a glove on. Oh, do we need to?
No.
I got some purple. I got those purple gloves, so we can use those.
There you go. Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300.
Yep. Give Alan a call for all your towing and wrecker needs. An interesting, it wasn't Allen's because I was in Colorado, but there was somebody pulled over on the side of the road needing gas. Allen's could do that for you too.
Absolutely.
If you needed that locked out of a vehicle, Allen's can come and help you.
That's a $5,000 quart of gasoline, but if you need it, you need it.
Yep. They will come and do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends. Let's highlight the L&L Grill.
Yeah.
Man, great folks, great food at Palace Bingo. You will eat chef's hats. Yes, Scott Tomko. Yes. And thermometers. We need a thermometer.
Meat thermometer?
Some type of thermometer.
Rectal?
It could multi-purpose. Just put a little olive oil on it and move on. Chesnick Furniture, Chesnick and Love make your house a home. There you go. Chesnick. Yeah. For all your local
accoutrement.
Thank you. I used that term yesterday in your absence. Tried to roll my R appropriately for French. Something King Charles said the other day. He said Donald Trump chided us in Europe that if it wasn't for the United States, we'd all be speaking German. He goes, dare I tell you that if it wasn't for the Brits, you'd all be speaking French. I didn't get the comparison, but it was funny. Charles almost knocked the podium over several times. It was very funny.
Oh, I see. Conjuring up his inner Joe Biden.
Yeah, no, I tell you what, I think Charles, by and large, is a good man. I think he's just, you say to yourself, what would it be to be king? Guy. It would suck. Being king, where you wake up every day, they hand you an agenda. You got to be at hospital openings, daycare center openings. You're basically just, you're just born into being Brother Gary. That's who you are. You're born into it, and it's your job.
You think Prince Harry's having some regrets?
Oh yeah, because he's broke.
Yeah.
But he's a liar too. That guy, he just wanted peace. He just wanted to get out from under all the celebrity. So he comes over here and does a documentary about himself.
Yeah, and then every few months they make some statement about how they're either not living that way or they want it out, but he can't stay out.
No, he can't stay out.
Hey, we're huge in California this morning. Justin Richter, good morning.
You do know that his dad was that Royal Guard member and not Charles. You do know that, right?
Something like that.
There's no way. I've seen the pictures. He looks exactly
like
he's got the ginger hair and a full head of it, whereas William and Charles are both bald. We know that male pattern baldness follows the mother's father, but it's just too much of a coincidence.
So, Supreme Court, and according to CNN, limited the reach of the Voting Rights Act yesterday.
To me, it more clarified the actual intent of the Voting Rights Act. Is that fair? I think it clarified the intent. The intent of the Voting Rights Act, 1965, I think, was to assure that no state imposed any criteria upon the right to vote that could disenfranchise any particular group. So, like in stereotype, it prohibited you from putting some type of literacy test in place that might disproportionately affect, let's say, your black community. That became illegal. Blacks were simply free to vote, no matter their education level or their literacy level. The reality is there's really no need for that law anymore, but where it's been misconstrued by the extremists on the left is that, well, we need to create majority numbers of minorities in certain districts so that those people are adequately represented. The racist stereotype is that without giving blacks their own district, black people don't get represented. I would think you'd have a better chance of representing a group as either a rural group or an urban group, no matter who the race of the candidate is. There's a case in Virginia where a small town, 84% rural farmers, cattle raisers, dairymen, got lumped in through a crazy, gerrymandered district with Arlington, Virginia, which is 0% rural, which is all urban. And the fear is that by doing that, because they were trying to get enough people into the right district, you now limit the effectiveness of those folks in the rural area to be adequately represented. And the Supreme Court voted 6-3.
Yeah, to strike down the Louisiana middle district of Louisiana that the state legislature map or had adopted that map. Justice Alito for the majority said Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 was designed to enforce the Constitution, not collide with it. Unfortunately, lower courts have sometimes applied this court's two precedents in a way that forces states to engage in a very race-based discrimination that the Constitution forbids, end quote.
So if you keep going, it says the tension between Section 2 and the Constitution came to a head when Louisiana redrew its congressional districts after the 2020 census. In 22, a federal judge in the Middle District held that the map adopted a state legislature that the map adopted by the state legislature likely violated Section 2 because it did not include an additional majority black district. The ability of all people to be able to vote without any type of discriminatory encumbrance has nothing to do at all with how many people of what color are in what voting district. But the left through the years has morphed it into that. And the Supreme Court put the brakes on and brought it back to its original intent. Yep. It is a big ruling. It's a big ruling. And
basically said this map was going the other way and was actually going to disenfranchise non-black voters, not just whites, but
that's
that wasn't black.
And the left is certainly okay with that. Because Whitey has had it too good for too long. So, and that's the whole point. The Supreme Court says the Constitution is not designed to right past wrongs. It's designed to prevent future wrongs. So there you have it.
But they didn't get rid of Section 2.
No, Section 2 is still there. And I think that was the main sticking point for the three dissenters who wanted to make sure that they didn't say anything that appeared to disparage the chance, for blacks to have an advantage. I'm back still, and this may not be popular, but it's still true. Black America simply doesn't matter anymore, except as they are simply Americans. As Americans, they absolutely matter and have a voice. I no longer believe that politicians.
Well, but that makes you racist according to the left now, because you don't see color.
Right. I probably am racist according to the left. I've been called such before. But the comment would be that if I'm a politician, and you can really look at current issues among the Democrats, they are trying to get the cumulative of, if I can get the LBGTQ community, and I can get the trans kids' parents, and I can get anybody who has any type of special need, if I can show them that I'm the only one that cares about them, certainly not only do the Republicans not care, the Republicans have it out for you. The Republicans want to herd you onto train cars and kill you. That's where the left is right now. You don't hear black trans for Kamala, although I'm certain it probably exists. Nobody is out actively seeking the specific black vote the way they used to do. You used to hear it all the time. Well, the Dems are going to carry Georgia because you know the Dems historically own the black vote. And they may still do so, but you don't hear people talking about it anymore. We've got bigger issues. The Latino vote, and rightfully so, has surpassed the black vote as a quest. It's my observation. Not sure I'm right, but pretty sure I am. Do you agree, or?
No, there's more of them.
That's right. And you know what the left is learning the hard way? And they're learning it the hard way with each election. You may have certain people in the Latino community that are all about migrant workers and all that, but by and large, in stereotype, Latinos are more family oriented. They're going to have the number of children that help prolong our republic. They don't like illegal immigration. They don't like Hondurans and Guatemalans coming here. They are, in general, fiercely patriotic. They may pull for Mexico in the World Cup, but they fly an American flag in front of their home. And I know that to be the case here in our region, but I'm saying that nationwide, the Hispanic population, the Mexican American population, if you will, just shakes its head at all this LBGTQ garbage.
In less than a generation, the Cubans in Florida went from voting Democrat to Republican because of what the Democrat Party now stands for. You've
anti-family, anti-God. They're hugely, in stereotype again, a Catholic-based.
You alienated an entire voter base in Florida.
Yeah.
In a generation. They've seen through the ruse of the Democrat Party and giving everybody everything because their values are hard work and family. The two things the Democrat Party does not stand for anymore, even though they claim to be the party of the working man. No.
I think this is a funny headline, although it's not funny. It involves war. It says Russia scales back its Victory Day parade, fearing Ukrainian drone strikes.
This, of course, I mean, tomorrow's May 1st, and May Day was always a big day amongst the communist countries. They always ran their big military parades and tried to show off to the world that they were strong militarily. So now Russia calls it the Victory Day parade.
Yeah. Look at these guys. You don't think those guys were all hand selected to be in that guard? They're all big, square jawed, Eastern
Ruskies, yeah.
White dudes. All of them are white.
Yeah. Russian Defense Ministry announcing that next week's Victory Day parade will not have any tanks.
Well, they're all over in
missiles,
Ukraine.
Yeah, or other heavy equipment because of the operational situation in Ukraine. Plus,
isn't that something?
Why would you march a bunch of people? I mean, you don't think the drones are still going to go after the people in the parade?
Yeah, that's what I think he thinks. They're going to target the parade.
So why would you march a bunch of people? We're not going to put out our missiles and our tanks and our heavy equipment because of drones, but we'll offer up the sacrificial men of our country.
Yeah.
Dumb.
Something you don't hear much about lately. Sorry, it's just Main Street media has moved on. We don't know where the lady from Good Morning America, the Today Show,
Savannah Guthrie.
We have no idea what happened to her mom. Nobody knows.
Nope.
I mean, we don't know. You also don't hear much about Ukraine, Russia anymore. Why is that?
I don't know.
Why is that not a big deal? And by the way, when was the last time Vlad Zelensky, the little guy, Tom Cruise, when was the last time he went anywhere and begged for money?
It's been a while.
So his money, his personal parachute and home in Costa Rica must be secure.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
Yeah, he is secure. What else have you not heard much about lately? Isn't it funny how we know so much about this guy that attempted to enter the White House Correspondents' Dinner the other night, and we still don't know anything definitive about the shooter in Butler, Pennsylvania? There are folks that still claim that President Trump wasn't actually shot that day, and that the whole thing was a ruse.
Well, how quiet though was the fact that I think that whole case is being upheld right now or delayed because the defense says, whoa, wait a second. Ballistics don't match what you claim they match to one of the bullets fragments. So,
interesting.
Yeah. So, but we're not hearing nothing about that.
But I always think about the two folks who did die that day in Butler, and just how really, I'm not saying anybody in any of the most recent regimes is above this, but how brutally ruthless would it be to have collateral damage over a fake attempt? I've watched the video numerous times, and I know that I've never been shot, but when I watch the way Trump inadvertently, the reflexive, he does like that, he got shot. He got hit on his ear because he reacted as if somebody who was in extreme, like, wow, how did that happen?
Yeah, people don't get shot the way they get shot in movies and on TV and all that. It just doesn't happen that way.
Now, Trump says there's a good chance that a good shot that another person will walk on the moon during his presidency. Really?
Yeah.
Do they know that? Does NASA know that in less than 3 years they need to put feet back on the moon?
Well, I think they were just kind of, he was honoring the astronauts from the Artemis 11 yesterday.
What do you make of the folks that really challenge a lot of
that?
Oh, Artemis 11. Yeah. That's an old Ilhan. You pointed out that was over a year old.
Yeah.
When Ilhan misstated reading and said that Germans and Japanese had been held in this country. It's the first time now that Trump's doing it, she's wrong, but it's the first time it's been done since World War XI, because she didn't realize that the two stripes meant World War II. The idea that a sitting United States congressperson doesn't know that there hasn't even been a World War III, but she can jump straight to World War XI, just shows you how dumb she is.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Unfit to serve. The people of Minnesota are just stupid.
So, I typically am not for the Oval Office honorees and honoring all these different groups, regardless of who's president. This one's a little different, I think, but I still, pretty cool, but not sure they need to be there. Interest rates being held steady yesterday. Fed Reserve saying that they will hold interest rates steady. It was Jerome Powell's final meeting as chair. He says he will step aside when his term ends on May 15th. I didn't think he had a choice. His term is ending. How come
Yeah.
Where are all the people claiming, well, if he doesn't step aside, he can't stay? No, of course not. But it'll be interesting to see who the president nomination is for Federal Reserve chair.
Powell says he's going to stay on the board. I don't know. I didn't even know that was his choice.
I think he can stay on the board. I don't think he can't be the chair anymore. But I mean, you got to get something moving pretty quickly here, Donald.
Right.
Because if you lose the House, they're not going to probably allow or vote any of your. They don't approve anything.
I think he's going to get this done. It says here that oil surged above $126 a barrel earlier today, its highest price in 4 years, as Trump lays the groundwork for an extended naval blockade
This is all
of
from CNN, by the way.
Iranian ports, CNN. So you know you're getting the objective side of it.
Yeah.
The Pentagon officials told lawmakers Wednesday the U.S. has spent roughly $25 billion on the war. I'm not a big fan of looking at the cost of freedom. I think if the cause is righteous, if the reason to be there is a reason to be there, and at the same time, and I can't believe that I'll say it out loud, $25 billion out of the United States hemorrhaging budget is not really anything more than a bad day. It's just not. So, you know, it is what it is. If it's the right place to be, if it's the right thing to do, then you just have to absorb the cost and move on.
Let's see what else is happening in the world today. Markets yesterday closed about flat after the announcement of the Fed's rate being held steady. Terrible footage out of Mineral Wells. Watching some of that this morning. Tornado hit Mineral Wells yesterday. Thankfully, they had enough warning and they sent people home. This one's stronger than the one that hit parts of Texas the day before. Softball size hail. Interesting. You made an interesting comment. There were a bunch of 60s era ranch style bungalows that even the trees falling caused no damage to them. But it seemed like all the newer construction homes completely damaged and destroyed.
And then my question is, you may remember the famous photo after whatever hurricane it was went across Galveston back in the 80s or 90s. And I don't think it was in the 2000s. But you see where a neighborhood was, and you can see the outline of the streets and cul-de-sacs. And there's one house sitting out there. Now, what is that house worth? You're the only guy in the neighborhood who doesn't have a house that was rebuilt. Everybody else got a new house after the storm. Yeah. I'm the original house. You talk about deplenished property values.
Not for taxable purposes.
No, I'm sure that when all the other homes come in, the comps will go up and his house will be worth more for taxes.
I guess drivers on I-35 around Hillsborough, everybody knows where Hillsborough is.
Yeah.
Took refuge in the bathroom of the Buc-ee's.
That seems like a safe place to be.
Yeah. And apparently the winds ripped the sign of the Beaver logo off the Buc-ee's sign there. But
sacrilege.
Yeah.
Think about the ruse if you realize one day that, you know, you buy a house for $250,000. The CAD estimates that it was worth $400,000, so you pay taxes all along the way, telling yourself you got a great deal on that house because it's worth $400,000. And then over time, they inch it up to $500 and change, and you're still paying taxes on gains that you haven't obtained. You didn't get that money. You bought it for $250,000. It's worth $500,000. You don't have the $250,000 profit, if you will, and they're still taxing you on $500,000. And by the time the day comes and you actually sell it for $400,000, you've spent all the increase that you earned in taxes. Very interesting. Over 20 years at $10,000 a year in taxes, you paid them $200,000. You bought it for $200,000, $250,000. You made payments all those years on that balance. You gave the government over the course of your loan all the money that you gain at the end. And if you don't turn around and reinvest it, they're going to hit you on a capital gains tax. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. You think that the president is getting ready to initiate more strikes on Iran?
Aren't we coming up on the end of his extension of the ceasefire?
Yeah. At this point,
yesterday, the only ship that got through reportedly was a super yacht of some Russian oligarch that got through the Strait of Hormuz.
if you follow the line of thinking that the Iranians are just trying to stretch things out long enough for Americans to lose their resolve to pursue the uranium, I think that you and the Iranians are on the wrong side of this issue, because Donald Trump is not going to back down, I believe, on getting the uranium. And when there are people who are been prone to starvation, but when they start starving because of the blockade, you notice that we haven't sunk any ships because nobody's been dumb enough to challenge the blockade. We're not trying to tell you not to go through the Strait of Hormuz. We're just telling you you're not going into port in Iran. We haven't had to do anything to anybody yet. Yeah. Daniel Bird asked, I wonder why Republicans voted against looking into Ilhan Omar's verification of citizenship. I don't know. She may be better advertisement for the right in her current role because she's just that dumb.
I think it goes deeper than that. I think they don't want to know that INS is full of corruption, fraud, and people that just don't do their jobs very well.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I think it is.
Might give proper credit on the tax analysis or not. Most everyone's already seen it anyway. I didn't read what I said about taxes. Did I?
No. That was straight off of that was straight
common sense.
Yeah, there was nothing on the screen that you were reading.
No, I didn't read that.
In fact,
I'm glad that you found it print worthy. I don't have to read that.
Take a final break.
Folks, the chopping block having Wacky Wing Wednesday all week. Get in there and get, what are they, $3.99 a pound? For right now, they're $3.99 a pound. Yep. Get into the chopping block, tell them Wade and Carter sent you, and you want some $3.99 a pound wings. Some are marinated. Ash might say pre-marinated.
It might be pre-marinated.
It's hard to marinate them afterwards. You can coat them, sop them,
slop them,
but it's hard to post-marinate.
I find they do best
pre-marinated.
Pre-marinated,
yeah. Get into the chopping block today for all your beef, chicken, and wrapped
they even
vegetables.
Have some good pork chops sometimes too.
They'll take anything and look, they'll take a Nike tennis shoe, shove it full of breakfast sausage, wrap it in bacon. It's $4.99 a pound. You'll like it. They have hamburger patties. They have Wagyu. They have great like artisan beeves. If you'd like to have a beautiful, like deep, almost purple filet, they've got it.
Yeah, their Wagyu Denver on the weekend. It was good.
Get in there. Paravita Wellness and the Vita Cafe, thanking Erica Briggs for that flyby this morning.
Yeah.
Great to visit with her and sample the food of the Paravita Wellness. Get by the Vita Cafe and have fantastic brunch. Mother's Day brunch. I'm just going to throw it out there because she's not here. If you go to the Vita Cafe for Mother's Day brunch and you say Wade and Carter sent me, I'll get you at least one free mimosa. There you go. Tammy Keeling doubling down in her stupidity. Good remembering what you read. You still should give credit or at least say, I agree with the author. Have no idea what she's talking about.
I don't either.
I certainly don't. But neither does she. It's just got to be contrary to the show.
Yep. So Mother's Day brunch at the Vita Cafe and Market on Sunday. They've got shareables, including a tuna crudo with cucumbers and crackers. The menu will include lemon ricotta pancakes, bananas Foster French toast, huevos rancheros, a spring veggie frittata for those of you that are.
What's a frittata?
Like an egg pancake almost thing.
What's a frittata?
I don't know.
Well, that's the chairman of the Board of Regents.
Frittata,
U of H.
Was.
Oh, that's right.
Now he's the Italian
czar.
Yeah, more or less. You can also build your own omelet there, and then the full brunch menu is also available. But those are the extra things they will have on the menu for Mother's Day. And with the purchase of food, you get a free frozen mimosa.
There you go. See, just like that. Boom. Free frozen mimosa. Wade and Carter.
Corpus Christi.
Problems.
Funky down there. I guess their city council agreed to delay a vote. They were looking at if the city had to enter some sort of drought restriction, water restriction because of a water crisis, it would require everybody to immediately reduce usage by 25%.
It's just not practical to enforce. I'm not saying it's not a great idea. I'm not saying I wouldn't try to do that. What needs to happen in Corpus then is 25% of the people just need to move. Hey, move to Victoria. Move on up here. If you're listening on KTMV, come on up.
That's the thing. How do you enforce those unless you start analyzing everybody's water bill and see who didn't cut their usage by 25%?
They come in there and they throw open your shower curtain, and it's like a scene from Psycho. Over water.
I just don't see how I'm with you. I don't see how they could do that. I don't see how they could monitor it.
Yeah.
Carry it out.
Scott Tonko says from AI, the primary difference between pre-marinated meat and marinating it yourself is a trade-off between convenience and control. Now,
so if I marinate them to myself, they're marinated. If I buy them already marinated, they're pre-marinated.
Were they pre-marinated or were they just marinated wings that I bought as opposed to just a naked raw wing? Is it a marinated wing? I have a challenge for you folks that I find so simple but invigorating. I'll go to Sam's and I just can't hardly pass up when I walk by and they have those big rotisserie roasted chickens for $4.99. And if I want to buy chicken raw, 2 chickens is like $11.
Yeah.
Huh. Oh, by the way, Brian Small says, good reading, Brent. Did you thank Scott for what he wrote? I did say from Scott Tonko.
Yes, you did.
Which, by the way, got it from AI. Do you have to give credit to Scott?
Gave credit to
so,
AI.
I mean, by association, I gave credit to AI. But I'll buy that chicken and go home, and it's done, but it's still kind of rubbery, but it's done. It's cooked all the way through. I'll wrap it in foil and put it on a cookie sheet and just shove it in the oven on 250. 225 if I'm not hungry, and let it cook for a couple of more hours at that temperature. And let me tell you, you just take it out and you can just pull the bones out of the drumsticks. I cut off a breast yesterday and sliced up a couple of boiled eggs. I had a little mayonnaise, a little mustard. I diced up some hamburger dill pickles. Now you wouldn't like it because of the eggs, but
take the egg out of it.
I should have put a little bit of onion in there. It made a really great chicken salad that I did in about 3 minutes. There you go.
Are hamburger dill pickles any different than other dill pickles?
No, but except they're crinkle cut. Yeah, I'm giving you a visual. You told me that radio is
theater for the mind.
There
theater
you
of
go.
The mind. Yep.
There you go. That babbling is too long to read, much less recite. I'll give credit to Tammy for that, for boring me to the point of ignoring her.
Let's see what else is happening. Astros did not play last night.
That's a win. That's a win.
So I guess they're making it up today.
Prince William and Kate shared a casual family photo marking their 15th wedding anniversary. They seem to be an enjoyable couple. She had some cancer issues, I think.
Some health issues for sure. She was kind of not seen for about a year in public.
Yeah. Interesting. She seems like a nice person. I think
They seem genuinely happy being
he's
part
an
of the
approachable
monarchy.
guy. Yeah. Well, I think at some point, I remember watching several, The Crown and several others, that The Crown especially, it was obvious there was some cooperation from the monarchy in making, because there was access to different castles, and there was also a more empathetic look at the it's all glory of being a monarch. And I think Elizabeth, who was really a fantastic lady, I think Queen Elizabeth, and very wise for someone who was not highly educated. See, they were removed from the lineage.
She was homeschooled.
They were homeschooled and not by the brightest. And but she was very, very smart lady.
Yeah.
Very, very smart lady. No, they were just homeschooled, and it wasn't. What I'm saying is, it wasn't towards an end. It wasn't towards trying to get her to, to Eton or somewhere. It wasn't some big deal, some great university or something.
They were huge in Addison, Texas this morning.
I like
Morning,
it.
Brent. How are you?
You know where Addison is?
I don't know where
I
Addison
think it's up by Dallas.
Okay. Was not aware of that. Astros, First State Bank of Louise Astros update. They will play a doubleheader today. Interesting how Major League Baseball frames this. The game one will be at 11:35. And game two is the makeup for yesterday. So they don't make up game two until after the regularly scheduled game is played, which I always thought that the makeup would be played first, since it was supposed to be played first.
Let's just play two.
So
from the understatement of the year department, Edward Eastland, one of the directors of Camp Mystic, apologized to families whose daughters perished at the site during last summer's flash floods. "We tried our hardest that night, and it wasn't enough to save your daughters," he said. I don't know what else we could want him to say. I'm sure that it haunts those people every day, but I get the feeling that the people that were at the camp, that they haven't actually accepted, and it may be too big a burden to accept. It doesn't seem to me that they've accepted that they screwed up. It's almost like, well, the warnings weren't adequate. Well, the state didn't do their part. Well, nobody came and told us. And I heard in one of the hearings, the attorney for the prosecution, if you will, said, "What did you want? Did you want a state trooper to come and grab you by your pajamas and pull you out of bed and tell you to move to higher ground?" There is a common sense factor there. There is a denial and a complicity and a complacency that did lead to numerous deaths. But you can't blame the river, and you can't really blame law enforcement.
Well, and investigators testified before before the state legislature that there were opportunities the morning of July 4th that camp leaders could have safely evacuated campers to higher ground. They could have got them out of the flood plain.
Look, for what it cost to go to a camp like Camp Mystic, they should have someone on guard 24 hours a day, awake on their shift. And if nothing else, that person should monitor flash flood warnings, because I've seen the river when it comes up. Underneath that area, that entire region, there's 2 inches of topsoil and then limestone. There is no way for the earth to absorb the water. It is simply a runoff situation.
Yep.
And it has a exponential growing effect, a magnification as it comes down the canyon. So it seems that would be the case.
Torn Bales asked if we've never been to the Magic Time Machine restaurant in Addison. I have not.
I was at one in Austin. Looking back at the time, I was impressed. Now I know I would be duly disappointed.
B. Small says he's getting his home PhD as we speak.
Was that Junior Samples who said that? Oh, John Anderson said he watched The Rookie last night. That was a good show.
Yeah, Junior would not watch that one.
No. That's right. Sarcasm as a second language. I like it, B. Small. For those of you that need to have your meds regulated, please seek help.
Do so.
Hang in there. We
I
know
heard
that
the bells toll.
if you have that big a quest for attention, get a radio show. Have a great day, folks. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye, folks.